Now you see, he hasn't seen the new opening titles, so
see, I thought that was all right, but I still prefer the Thames TV one.
We might do the Thames TV one at some stage. We might do that on Granada,
because then it'll be the Sweeney, won't it?
It will be. It will. Yes, it's embedded in that show, isn't it?
Because if the Thames TV thing isn't followed immediately by the music of the Sweeney, then we're doing it wrong, aren't we?
Yeah, we are doing it wrong. People watching this thing thinking that even by our own standards, this is just getting even more and more bizarre.
That's just the rules. We don't make them; we just adhere to them.
Yeah. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Interesting Modelling Company Sunday service, the first one of October. Hurrah! We're properly into autumn now.
Oh, you know what? I turned the heating on for an hour yesterday.
You can afford to?
I'm loaded, mate. Absolutely loaded.
You're certainly full, yes.
Yeah. Well, can I afford to? Well, yet to be determined. But you know, you might as well use the gas while you got it, because you never know when they're going to turn it off.
That's true. So. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So how have you been this week then?
All right. Yeah. So things are a little bit stressy at Manton Towers at the moment because Mum's back in hospital. She had a bad back, and then she took a fall this week, and whilst in hospital, conveniently enough, and had to have her other hip replaced. So she's got a matching pair now. So it's all a little bit, it's all a little bit stressy, if you get what I mean. But we're coping, and I did finish the Mirage this week, so stuff is still going.
What you should do is, now that you've finished a Mirage, what you should build is another Mirage.
Well, you know, I'm kind of almost cracked, but then, you know, that did turn up this week.
Yeah.
From Mr.
Hills.
It's difficult to get it in shot, isn't it? There you go.
It is. It's a big box, but it's not as big as the box I'm about to show in a minute.
No. So, yeah, that turned up from our friend Mr. Hills this week, and it's absolutely, it's a fantastic model. Lots and lots of stuff in the box, very full box. Lots of spares that you're not going to use as well. Whole set of wings that you're not going to use. Yeah, the thing is, it's not like in the past where sort of like the Counter Invader has been a little bit of a conversion, or they've chucked a few little bits in the box. Compared to the B and A26 B and C they've already done, that's about 75% new tooling. That okay, you know, they've really gone to town on it. It's all new fuselage, some of the interior, all new wings, and a lot of the ancillaries, and obviously the stores and stuff are completely new. It's just, yeah, they've really gone to town on it, so to speak. So it almost sort of begs to be built, and who doesn't like a Counter Invader in Southeast Asia camouflage?
Well, hold that thought, because I have sat on my desk here. Actually, when I say sat on my desk, almost overpowering my desk here is, of course, something we're gonna look at tonight in the live unboxing.
Yes.
We've got two things here that will probably two things here that will be winging their way to you. What should we do? Should we do the we show, you know, in a moment, should we do the live unboxing first, or should we do the news first? What do you reckon?
I think we should do the news first. I think we'll
do the news first.
I think we'll get on with. I think we'll get on with the news.
Yeah. Just to say quickly, I had another. I was starting to sound like I'm from Devon. I had another trip down to Devon this week, which was lovely. Went to Topsham, found a brilliant second-hand bookshop in Topsham, and managed to pick up a load of books that I've been after. Like silly money, £2 each, and I honestly brilliant. And then right opposite that was an off license where I managed to get some lovely Devon beers. So
well, there you go. So all pluses then, all positives.
It is, but it has been the spur for me to crack on and get my library he said pretentiously, get my library sorted out. So I've been working on that over the weekend. So a little bit of modelling, but mostly upstairs painting one-to-one things.
Yes.
In Egyptian cotton was the colour I chose.
What's that? Is that just off-white?
It's kind of like a warm grey. Do you know what? Egyptian cotton, now I realise it's actually like aircraft grey.
Right.
Yeah. Warm grey. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, what a surprise! It's raining here again.
Yes, it has been a very rainy sort of weekend, hasn't it? On and off.
I won't be doing ghost stories outside tonight then. So, hey ho.
No chimney or no chimney. There's going to be no outsiding.
Beige. No, not beige, Dave. Honestly, not beige. Anyway, look, let's crack on. We've got, like I say, we've got a show tonight that's got a lot to kind of crack through tonight. We'll kind of talk about projects and things, but let's get some news out the way, and let's get the elephant out of the room, shall we? And that is whatever happened to the Wingnut Wings 30-second scale Lancaster. There it is.
There we are.
and there you are. Next news item, please. Now,
what a piece of box art! What a piece of box art!
That's a Christmas card, isn't it?
I just absolutely love that as a piece of box art. There's no, it just proves it doesn't have to be bangs and explosions for box art to be very evocative, does it? I mean, that is just you can feel the chill.
I am sure when I was up at Morton in the Marsh, 21 years ago, 1999, and I'm sure I bought a Christmas card. It's probably Wellington's actually, but very similar, but beautifully atmospheric though, isn't it? It's you can hear that kind of like icing crunch under the feet, can't you?
Yeah. You see the breath coming, the condensation in the breath and all that sort of thing. What a beautiful piece of artwork that is. And added to that, there's a kit inside as well.
There is a kit inside, apparently. So for your hundreds of pounds, and that's what it's going to cost you, hundreds of pounds, you do get a kit inside. And oh boy, this is not so much a model kit as literally an engineering study of the Lancaster in 1/32 scale.
I mean, we were all looking at it at Telford's when it was a Wingnut Wings project, and basically sort of losing the plot over it, weren't we? It's absolutely stunning from stem to stern. Look at it. I mean, props to Hong Kong models. Their one is a nice model, but this kind of this just takes it up a notch.
Well, it's kind of catering for different markets, and I'm going to throw something into the mix at the end of when we finish looking at this to see what people think. But Wingnuts have certainly, they followed that kind of like what Airfix did with the Tempest, with the Typhoon rather, and the Hellcat, and they've gone for that quilted look, which, as you can see from the pictures here, this is I think these are CAD renders, but it definitely captures that character.
It's a stressed skin, isn't it? So it's under a coat of paint. I'd see, because people are obviously, I remember when they first kind of showed it, people said, "Oh my God, it's overdone," and all the rest of it. And then you see it painted up, and you go, "Actually, no, it looks pretty much, it looks pretty much on the money." And just look at it. Absolutely, just look at it. I'm relieved, although it's not. It doesn't interest me as a model because it's just not in my wheelhouse. But I'm very relieved that it's actually going to see the light of day, because it would have been a tragedy for that level of research and development work to go to waste, wouldn't it? So I'm just very, very glad that it's found a home. Albeit with Border Models have said themselves that there have been engineering problems with it and stuff like that, which means it's initially, at least, it's going to be quite a limited sort of release. I just think it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
As I say, it's an engineering study. It's almost a crime to actually put fuselage and engine covers on this.
Yeah. It just looks absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to see one built. Although I won't be the one building it. But it's just, it's one of those ones where superlatives, you kind of run out of superlatives for what you're seeing very, very quickly.
I think the best way of describing this is it's obviously not going to be a kit for everyone. It's not going to be a kit that's going to be affordable for everyone. But this is, I think, what Wingnut Wings initially set out to do was to really show what you could do with a plastic kit. I don't think there will. I'm going to stick my neck out here. I don't think there will ever be another kit like this. I think this is almost a kind of.
I kind of resist saying that sort of thing, because I can remember people saying when the Tamiya Tomcat was released in 1980 or 81, there will never be another kit like this. And so, with the way stuff just keeps advancing, I'm always reluctant to, but it definitely sets. It definitely sets the current standard for what's achievable with current technologies. I think it's safe to say. And like you say, it's not going to be affordable for everybody, but for those that it is affordable for, it's going to be a remarkable project.
Yeah.
And we've seen the rumors about the price, and I've seen the usual arguments raging online about are you being ripped off or not? No, you're not. End of story.
No.
You pay your money or you don't. It's as simple as that.
I've seen $600 being quoted as.
I've seen 700. I've seen 699, which I think we'd kind of like. What does that work out? About 550, 600 quid.
Mm-hmm.
I think originally the Wingnut ones was going to be 399. So, yeah, I would say that if you can afford 400 quid for a Lancaster, you're probably going to find another couple hundred quid if you need it, if you want it that badly. And if not, you move on and build something else. Simple as that.
Well, this is the thing, because I also have seen some of the comments about the price of this kit and people essentially getting bent out of shape, saying no kit should cost that much, and and all manner of speculation and opinion. Unfortunately, if you are going to push the envelope and go for excellence like this, it's not going to be cheap. And I think for people who are saying, I'm waiting for somebody to say, oh, it just shows then what could be done if somebody did a 24 scale one. Yeah, 24 scale one, you can multiply the price up by the scale difference again, can't you? You're looking at close to $1,000 for something like that. That's
and I've made the point. The points I made earlier to several people were, one, if you think that's expensive, don't ever get involved in model railroading, because that'll throw it into sharp relief how expensive it is. And for border models, if they can sell 1,000 of them at $700 a piece, as opposed to 7,000 at $100 a piece, they're obviously going to go the former route, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's less work on their part for the same return, that's just the way it is. It's a luxury. It's a leisure item.
Do you know what? I almost see this kit as it's almost a form of technology demonstrator. If you get my drift. You get aircraft that you think, isn't that fantastic? It is, but it's a technology demonstrator. It was never meant to be a sustainable long-term thing. It was there to show what was achievable. And I think this is an example of that. This shows what you could achieve with a plastic kit. Doesn't necessarily mean that this is the direction all plastic kits are going to go in the future, because clearly it's unaffordable and unsustainable. So,
bearing in mind the team that designed this, it kind of like it paves the way, if you like, for the Qatari Spitfire Mark 1 next year, doesn't it? Which I'm far more sort of interested and excited about as a release. Because that is something that comes within my potential sphere of interest.
Comes
So
well within my sphere of interest.
yeah. So, you know, if people look at that when it's released and look at the magazine reviews and think there's actually a team who are working on stuff to this quality now, and getting to pick their own subjects as well. No, you know, they're not being driven by an owner who has a kind of tunnel vision. So they're being driven by their own desires and their own interests, which is great.
An owner with bad hobbits.
Yes.
No, we don't mean that. Now, here's a thought, because obviously we've got this, which is probably, I think at the moment, I think it's best described, this is probably the ultimate plastic kit that has thus far been developed in the history of plastic kit.
Yeah.
You've got the Hong Kong one, which is highly detailed, you see. But I'm going to throw this out there. Do you think there's a market out there for another maker of 32nd scale aircraft to go, do you know what? We'll do a Lancaster, but ours will just have, it's not going to have that same fidelity or extensiveness of panel lines. It'll just be engraved panel lines, maybe some rivets. It's not going to have no engines. It's going to be a curbside model essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be a curbside model, basic cockpit stuff for the, hello compressor. Basic cockpit stuff for the turrets and the bomb bay, but beyond that, a really stripped back 32nd scale Lancaster that perhaps you could bang into the shops for under $100 or under £100, you know, to kind of like that kind of 99.99 price range, depending on your thing. I don't know about you, but I think if somebody were to do that, I think they'd find a market.
I think regardless of how detailed it is, you'd struggle to get it under the £100 mark. I genuinely think you'd struggle. I think you'd be looking at 150 minimum. Okay. But it's certainly something that I think, you know, the likes of, you know, like Revell did with the Spitfire Mark 9 after, and the Mustang, after Tamiya had done the 32nd ones, they released ones that were very much more simplified and, you know, a third to a quarter of the price, and have sold very well and basically and largely been very well received. So I don't know if there's a market out there for a kit of that size to be a mass market proposition.
Okay, that was just a thought today.
It's worth.
Did a curbside Lancaster, would they find a market for it?
It's worth, you know. So these things are always worth discussing, just for the interest, if nothing else. But I kind of think, you know, a medium-sized twin is about as big as you can go in 32nd and have a mass market, you know, a true mass market. So, you know, a 32nd scale Mosquito or Mitchell or Marauder, something like that. I think that's probably, to my way of thinking, that's about your kind of upper size limit for a mass market proposition. I might be wrong.
Paul Brown says, sorry to throw a cat among the pigeons, but I've heard from a trade that Albion Alloys is the UK distributor and that the RRP will be £800. Previous quotes are £700 are based on mainland Europe distributor prices. Well, yeah, that's a valid comment. We will just have to wait and see. The one thing it is not going to be pocket money prices, because it's not a pocket money kit. So
no,
as I say, and for people saying, "Oh, why doesn't AN manufacturer do this in 24 scale?" Well,
yeah, it's and my argument remains the same. If it's going to be £800, you know, you either find the money if you want it that badly, or you don't.
Just don't buy 800 quid's worth of other kits during the year.
Yeah, it's one of those capitalism things, isn't it? It's the kind of thing about capitalism. Whether you like it or not, the market will decide.
Mm-hmm.
And if Border Model come back next year and said, "Yeah, it sold great. We sold the entire first production run," then clearly capitalism is working for them.
Paul Milligan says, "We need a good 32nd scale Hurricane, please." I would not disagree with that, Paul. I think a 32nd scale Hurricane is a glittering prize yet to be seized by a kit company. So,
yeah, I don't think that'll be too far away. I
No.
don't. I think somebody will. I mean, I would be surprised if Qatari don't think of it as a logical next step after the Spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'd
so
like to think so.
we'll wait and see. But I mean, I'm really glad it's appeared. I'm really glad that somebody's picked it up. And as for the rest of it and the controversy over costs and all the rest of it, that'll shake out when it gets released, won't it?
Yep.
So
let's go from the sublime in terms of kit manufacture to something which is shaping up to be much more efficient and certainly much more affordable. And that is
that is Flyhawk have announced their first their first aircraft model in 72nd, which, as you can see, is the Douglas Dauntless.
hurrah!
Slow but deadly, which is a fantastic subject. I think it's one that, I mean, over the years it's been done by what I think we discussed this, John, for Airfix, Hawk, Aoshima, and Hasegawa have done this in 72nd in the past. And so this, I mean, looking at the breakdown of this kit, it looks to me like in terms of the simplicity of the kit, it's almost like the Hasegawa kit, just with a lot more internal detail and separate and drilled out dive bombing flaps. Personally speaking, I can't wait. I hope it's the start of a series including the SBD5 later on. But as a first release, Flyhawk really are at the they're regarded as being at the upper edge of their game, aren't they, in terms of quality for their ships and the tanks they've done and stuff. Are just they're absolutely at the very, very top end of the quality scale. So hopefully this follows through and is every bit the equal of their previous releases. There's no reason why it shouldn't be.
I was having a look at their range today, and I was suddenly minded that I still haven't got round to ordering or buying anything from this, just to experience it for myself and share.
No, we were daring each other a couple of years ago, weren't we? You, me, and Spencer, to buy a ship, and I didn't get one in the end, but we were sort of daring ourselves to get a Flyhawk one.
Quite fancy 72nd scale armor.
Yeah, and I've got a 72nd scale armor kit of theirs. It's one of those dual box things, a tiny little French thing.
The FT-17.
Absolutely minuscule it is.
Yeah,
you get two of them in the box, but it's beautifully done. And they've also done the Abrams, haven't they, in 72nd, M1A1 or M1A2 Abrams.
And they're doing a King Tiger as well soon.
Right. But
what I like about 72nd scale. But what I like about what this appears to show from this kind of like frame layout is that it doesn't look at all over engineered. It doesn't look overly complicated. It looks to be very, very efficient and workmanlike.
It looks as near to a weekend build as you're going to get these days.
That's what I'm thinking. That this looks like you can literally kind of like do a Spencer Pollard and have this done as sub-assemblies in the space of an evening, and then and boy, it's such a fabulous subject for paint schemes and weathering, and yes, please.
Yes, well, it's arguably it's one of those aircraft. In fact, I was just listening to a podcast today that was covering the Battle of Midway, and arguably it was a dive bombers that changed the entire course of the Pacific War in like in a 30-minute time, in a 30-minute time space sort of thing. So an incredibly important aircraft, although easily seems to have been forgotten about in many ways. But after the torpedo bombers at the Battle of Midway, these came in and basically took the Japanese carriers to pieces in less than half an hour, and that changed the whole course of the Pacific War then and there. And I'm particularly impressed that this basic model tooling here will have canopy masks.
Yep, and I've also just having a look. It is noticeable that looking at the way things have been broken down here, that I noticed at the very top right of the screen there, the cowl ring is a separate piece, which is
Yes.
good because you don't get any kind of like nasty seams. But it does look like there is the capacity, as you say, to do an SBD, to do a -5.
Yeah, which will be, you know, and obviously that's the basic tooling, and there'll probably be one with etch coming as well, and all that sort of thing. So
yeah,
you know, they'll make the most of it. Quick 30-second quiz. What's unique about the Dauntless as a carrier-borne aircraft from World War II? Designed for a carrier.
quick 30. I think when you said 30-second scale quiz, I thought you were going to say how many have you produced in 30-second scale?
A 30-second quiz. What's unique about the Dauntless as a carrier?
No.
There you go. Stephen's got it.
No folding wings.
Yeah,
no, it's not really a proper Navy airplane, then, is it?
Designed for a carrier and didn't have folding wings.
Do you know what? I was thinking that today when this kept popping back into my head, and I kept thinking to myself, how I was trying to think, how do the wings fold on a Dauntless? Answer: they don't.
They don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing.
Yeah, something which Douglas would go on to repeat with the Skyhawk.
Mm-hmm.
Although arguably the Skyhawk's got like a 27-foot wingspan, so probably didn't need it. But no, I think this is as a first release, I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
And it's what is it supposed to be about $22? It's
$22 is the price I keep seeing.
So hopefully 17, 18 quid.
I think if it ends up being around the kind of like around the 20 quid mark in this country, I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think I'll be if it comes in at around the 20 quid mark, I'll be perfectly happy with that.
Especially for the quality, as you say, the quality that Flyhawk offer.
But that can sit next to your Armour Wildcats and stuff like that. Just beautifully. I see Dave Fleming there. Saw a -3 Wildcat. I think, Dave, Armour have said that they're planning to go back and cover sort of the non-folding Wildcats as well. So hopefully they'll do the earlier -3 and stuff as well, Armour Hobby. So which will free Flyhawk up, hopefully, to expand the 70-second scale range, which is great, isn't it? It's great.
Ian Rusco was the first person to answer that question tonight. So Ian, if you was it Ian?
I thought somebody else had done it.
Okay, let me just have a look. Scrolls down. No, it was Ian Rusco. Yeah, Ian Rusco. If you message us, you win an awesome Interesting Modelling Company badge. Can't say fairer than that.
Quick pop quiz there. Quick pop quiz.
Yeah, and the second person wins 2. So anyway, right. So I got a bit of a frog in my throat tonight. I don't know what that is. It's probably a dusty room and doing decorating and things. So undaunted, pun. Shall we crack on to the live unboxing tonight?
Go on then. I believe both of these are headed my way, aren't they?
Yeah. And would you believe we're going to go do the live unboxing? So what happens?
Your camera's gone, hasn't it? Your camera's gone.
Yeah.
Tango uniform. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It's just stopped for some reason. Anyway, we'll have to do this manually the other way. Here we have the Zvezda Arktika Russian nuclear powered icebreaker project T2220. As you can see by the scale of my hands, and these are large flappy hands, this is quite a big box. So, and this is a genuine unboxing. I haven't even broken the seals on this, and this will be heading its way to. I know. That's a bit of an icebreaker joke for you there. This will be heading its way to Drew, but this is just to give you an idea here of just what a humongous box this is. I must say, Derp's been eyeing this, thinking this would be some kind of new home for him. But that's enough of the guff. Let's break the seal. wasn't this exciting? It's like Christmas morning. This.
Get on with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Look. It's got a handle. This is how.
That's really cool.
This is how involved this is. There we go. Oh goodness me! Right. Oh.
They're not shy with their boxes.
Hang about. Oh, you can tell this is live. Goodness me. That's a lot of.
Laura plastic.
That's a Laura plastic. Right. There's your hull. Do you want me to crack it out of the?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you and I
Both loathe it when they don't do that. There we go. That's better, isn't it? That's better.
Yeah. That's quite substantial, that, isn't it? I mean,
it is, but it doesn't look quite as big as I expected.
No. But I think where it's going to kind of like not be as long as you thought the model is going to be. I think that's going to be made up for by its height.
Yeah, the superstructure on these icebreakers is really very substantial indeed. So,
and flat bottomed as well, which is interesting.
Well, flat
bottom boats, they make the rocking world go around. There's a base there. So let's get on to the next sprue. I got to say,
yeah, that looks big. That looks big now, doesn't it? That deck.
Yeah,
that looks big.
I probably a little bit. It's probably a little bit deceiving, but I know there are lots and lots of bits for this. Right, there's your deck. Which everything's nice. Everything's nice and sharp. I've got to say. It's
Zvezda, isn't it?
It's Zvezda, yeah. So there's your. It's quite clever the way they've made use of the available space by moulding things within things as well.
Yeah.
Which is a rather neat little touch. There's your helicopter landing pad.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting when they build it to see how much of it can be built and painted in sub-assemblies and brought together.
Yes,
because I would imagine I would imagine that I'll be able to drop the superstructure in almost, completely painted and finished.
Yeah,
and be able to
there's the superstructure.
Because it's got a big flat bottom again, hasn't it? That superstructure. If you have a look at the bottom of it, so that's a big flat bottom that's gonna give it some strength, and that should hopefully just drop into the deck.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through the instructions in a minute. Excuse me. But yeah, everything's. Yeah, I mean, we will take some high def photographs and put them up over the next couple of days. It's just trying to get the photographs into get the bits into the photo booth here. But again, everything here it's nice and sharp. There's some really quite delicate detail going on here, which is rather impressive. So that goes into the box. Then we have, that's your height of your bridge area there. It's almost like an apartment block.
Yes, actually, that's very, very, that's very true. When you look at it, it does look exactly like, and that's practically what it is.
Yeah.
I think certainly most of the living area, if you say on these icebreakers, is above the waterline, which isn't the same for a lot of ships.
So I just get this other one. Also, that plastic it's a nice hard plastic.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Like
all very nicely done. And then we have some duplicate sprues here. 3 sprues of this.
Lifeboats and all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, lifeboats, davits, lots and lots of tiny little pieces here. which is I initially thought there's not as many bits as I thought the Spezia were going to say. There's nuclear. It's and I think a lot of these bits, because they are all going to be kind of different colours on the ship, there is going to be an awful lot of painting, sub-assembly painting and separating things off. Yeah. But yeah, you get 3 of those sprues, cranes and things and whatever. And then we have a sprue here. I do apologise for the camera being so high up. It's almost like Google Earth. But that's simply so that we could actually fit the thing into the picture tonight. You've got a nice Mill 8 there. We've got a nice little speedboat there. Railings, more deck fittings, propeller anchor, very delicate things. That's something for your the spy cutters there. That's looking at that. I'm going to be very careful when I put that in the box. But yeah, as you can see, that is a lot of plastic.
Very nice.
I'm sure Mr. Hills will come along in a minute and tell us what the retail price for this is. But I seem to remember it was somewhere
around 33 quid, something like that.
Something like that. Excuse me. So let's go. What have we got here? Well, we've got the colour scheme.
I mean, I'm quite disappointed in the color scheme. I like the traditional Russian nuclear icebreaker color scheme of black and orange. But
right, okay.
But hey ho, we'll do it. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. Yes, it's still quite a striking scheme in its own right, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 2 versions of it. I'm just trying to see. What the differences are. I can't. There will be probably something really obvious that I'm missing, but
turn it over again. All right.
No. Oh well. I'm sure there is a. I'm sure there and probably different time periods, and there are marking kind of differences between them. But what you do get is nice glossy set of stickers. And the colours on these look to be very nicely done. That actually, this helipad one here is one giant decal. Yep.
Yeah. And then so what you're saying, a bit of gloss would be fine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a bit of gloss, that'll be fine. Looks. These actually, the colours on these look really sharp. I know Sylvester decals can be a bit iffy sometimes, but these are actually. I'm just tilting them to the light. They're rather nice.
Only about 3 or 4 colours on there, isn't there?
Yeah, they also do include the parts for the Mill 8 as well.
Excellent.
Which is rather nice for the clear parts and whatever, and the cabin windows you can see there as well. So, yeah, that looks fabulous. And then let's have a look at the construction. Well, that's a good start. There's a page upside down.
Excellent.
That's for our Antipodean viewers there. That's right. It probably makes perfect sense to Craig Sargent, but not to us. So we have. Let's start there. So, yeah. I'm looking at this immediately, thinking, yeah, okay, how can you build this and break it down into different sub-assemblies? Now you probably can't see it very well because of the light glaring it out. But as you can see, I'm so glad you're getting this one with the upside down instructions. Yeah.
I'm sure I can pop the staples out and correct that.
Oh, well, that it does look fabulously involved, doesn't it? It looks absorbing, I think is a good phrase.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those ones where you're going to spend the first week just gluing sub-assemblies together, aren't you, and dealing with that, and then eventually you'll move on to starting to squirt some paint at it.
I'm so glad that for your first ever ship kit that you've chosen something, quiet and unassuming.
Well, I maintain it still looks like a more straightforward build than something like a King George battleship or something like that. It still looks like an inherently simpler build than that, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't look massively overcomplicated, and camera's still not working, but there we go. But yeah, that is Zvezda's 1/350th scale Arctica, which, as you can see, is a big old lump and lots of bits on it. So
yes, I look forward to that. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
I'm as much as I would like to build it, I definitely think you need to build this. I've got my own ships to build. I think you need to build this.
I'm quite happy to. I'm quite well. I've said that from the moment it was announced, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've never. It's not something I've sort of slowly come to think I might like to build. I said when it was announced, that's mine. So
Craig says he can offer translation services if required, which is good. Somebody's asked what's the parts count, and here I now have to carefully. Also keep the box because it's a very good suitcase.
Yes.
525 parts. Yeah. That is. I'm not kidding. That's a very good suitcase. That I quite happily do my shopping with that.
That is a substantial lump, isn't it?
It's absolutely. So that was the live unboxing there. Zvezda's 1/350th scale Arctica. Should we do another one? Let's do another one. I know this is exciting. This. So I think we can afford to bring the camera down for this a bit now because we're not quite doing this from
it's not quite as enormous a box.
Geostationary orbit. Now this is Zvezda's Airbus A321 CEO, and now this isn't entirely new, is it, Drew?
No, we were looking, weren't we? And I didn't realise I knew they'd released the A320, but I never realised they'd released the 321. So this is about 6 years old. The basic tooling.
Yeah, 2015. Then another issue back in 2017.
But it's from that brief period of Zvezda's airliners where they were doing some stuff with like dropped slats and flaps and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So it's actually quite a much more highly detailed model than some of their more recent airliners.
I think I like about Zvezda kits is when they come in these lovely little cardboard boxes, because I tell you what, these cardboard boxes are brilliant for mailing things.
And they're great for storing your models as well because they don't break, they don't crush, and they don't,
Now this, blimey, I'm not an airliner person, but you know what? I really like the look of this. I've never actually seen. So I'm making sure I'm keeping the scalpel well out of the way so I don't jab myself live on the internet. But I've not seen any of their 144 scale airliners before. But I've got to say,
they're very nice.
They're very, very, very nice.
There's both engine options there as well. I can see so. That's good news. That's good news. So they have released this as a Neo as well now with a new engine option. So this is a conventional or a traditional engine option variant. But as you can see, all the flaps and slats and stuff are separate on it. So
panel lines are beautifully done. Absolutely fantastic. This is the long fuselage version, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's the longest variant of the baby Airbus you can get. So. Yeah, it actually looks very complicated with the separate slats and flaps, doesn't it? It looks quite impressive.
So there's your wing underside with part of the fuselage again. And again, the panel lines on this are beautiful. They're perhaps a little bit light than I like them. I like them a little bit heavier, but
yeah, I mean, I think we've had this discussion about Zvezda already, haven't we? Which is, I'm pretty much in the same camp as you. I'd like them I'd like Zvezda to go a bit heavier on the panel lines in future.
These are. I tell you what, this reminds me of. This is what an Eschi airliner would have looked like around about 1982.
Right. Yeah.
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 It's got that kind of like Eschi Sea Harrier look to it.
And you've got the big winglets there, and there's also the other
Yeah.
the other smaller winglets as well, I think, are in the box. So,
and as you say, you get both engines as well.
Yeah, both engine options. That's really strange because there's like 2 complete engine options there. But if you have a look on the fuselage sprue, there's also an extra of each engine. Isn't that strange?
We'll probably find out what that is in the instruction sheet. So I'm going to look. There's no sinkage on anything. One of the things I'm going to say about the Arctica is that they appear to have put most of the ejection pins on the interiors of things. So
yes, yeah.
Which is quite nice. Another thing the other thing I do like about this instantly is that they've done the intake lips are all separate as well.
Yes, that makes a big difference.
No nasty seams, and it also means you can paint them separately for a nice bright metallic finish.
Shiny finish, yes.
Nice shiny finish. So let's have a look at the stickers. Here we go. I won't take them out of the bag, but there we go. We've got some very nice decals there with some metallic bits on them. I think it's just the one scheme for Condor, but yeah, that's nicely complicated. Actually, there are 2 aircraft on here, but they're same.
I mean, I generally find these days. I mean, Zvezda decals, they perform well. Just sometimes they don't do a white trap on yellows, which can be a little bit, which can be frustrating to say the least. Which is why the 757 is currently in stasis, because the yellow decals on it didn't have a white trap, and it really does make them very, very dull.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look at these. These do appear to have a white trap because I can see a slight little bit of darkening on the edge where the white trap is on the inside of it. So
right.
I would say these probably do have a white trap. Not so much of a problem when you're doing the fuselage one there, but obviously where you're doing it over this green colour.
Yes,
that's a fabulous colour scheme, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Condor always have had nice, nice, not terribly involved schemes, but nice basic schemes. Because they're a German carrier.
Yeah. So there's DATCA, and you can do it as DAIAI.
Flip the sheet again a second, John. No, I can see they've both got, you got different sets of they're different aircraft because you've got different winglets on them.
Oh, right. Yes.
You have a look, you got different winglets.
Yeah, those are little uppy downy ones
That's
there.
the traditional.
And those ones are bong. So
yeah.
That's nice. That, I mean, I'm not an airliner person, but I'm
tempted to keep it.
No, I'm not. No, absolutely not.
Oh, you're not.
No, because it means I've then got to sit down and I've got to start learning how to do trizacking and all that kind of stuff. And you and Jen are the masters of that, so I'm going to stick to what I'm moderately competent with, and that's hiding things with mud. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. Know your limit.
Fair enough.
And yeah, you're right. You get all these. The slats and flaps are all separate. Sorry, the leading edge slats are all separate. And the flaps are as well.
And the flaps.
Yeah, you get the 2 winglets. I'm just seeing what it says about the engines. Nothing about the engines. Just use these particular bits. But it probably makes economical sense to Zvezda just to mold everything in one kit, and then, you know, rather than
it just seems a bit odd to have 3 of each engine when it's, you know, although it's both engine options. You know, I'd be interested in seeing what they've added to the Neo kits, because they need entirely new engines again.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm just looking at you've got the sprue layout here, and it's showing you what you use and what you don't use. So it's saying engine parts 26, 27, 17, 18, but it's showing you engine parts 35 and 36. It's nothing like
perhaps there's some slight differences again that crept in between different between different mod states of the aircraft itself. I don't know.
Yeah, 35 and 36 are being used here, as are 17 and 18. Sorry, 16 and 17. Yeah, 16 and 36. Okay, then. Right, so you use that. It's panel details. That's what it is.
All right, okay.
So you use that, that, and that, and then that and that. And I think these are just slightly different panel arrangements for the, for them. So
Yes.
essentially they're the same shape, but they just have different panel detail, which is a rather nice observation by Zvezda.
Cool.
Nice. That's very nice. I'm very, very impressed with this. But as I say, I can't do clean aeroplanes, so I'm afraid that's yours and Jennifer's department. So, we will, know your limits.
Leave it to us.
Leave it to the experts, I say. So, wasn't that exciting? Like I said, it's just like Christmas Day.
A little bit of unboxing.
Should have cracked open some sherry and mince pies there. So, I'm sure Mr. Hills will come along and tell us what the price is. Stan Codling says £58 for the icebreaker at Hannon's. I tell you what, we'll go straight to the JADLAM website and we'll find out all the prices from there. So, fill in for me, Drew. Tell them an amusing story.
See, I hate this kind of pressure. It's just like you just tell them an amusing story, but it's like tell us a funny joke. You just can't find a funny joke to tell when somebody puts you on.
JADLAM have the Arctica down at $59.95. And the A321 CEO. I'm just having a quick look there. And that one, they haven't got the price of that one at the moment. You think we checked?
I expect it's in the 23, 25 pound mark, I would think.
Yeah. You think we checked this out beforehand, but
nah, what's that? That sounds too professional for us.
So I've got 312. That's why 321.
We don't want any truck.
321. £22.50.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So yeah, good value for money again. Good, very, very, very nicely detailed, nice color schemes. Good value for money.
Yeah, Dave Swindle says, "Is it?"
I don't think it is. As far as I'm aware, they all had strakes on the engines, regardless of even the very earliest ones had strakes on the engines. I think. We're
going to take some high res photographs of this anyway. So we'll fight it out on the Facebook page. But yeah, very nicely done. This. If I had the time and the inclination, I would build it, but I have neither. So
no, you've got other stuff to be doing.
Like I say, you and Jen know what you're doing with these. I would just be.
Well, Jen does. I kind of like follow in her footsteps and try and sort of do a reasonable impersonation of her work.
Absolutely. Right. Should we talk about your projects then?
Well, I mean, the Mirage got finished this week, as we discussed. And also, who was that? Andrew.
Yeah.
Hello, Andrew. And actually got some more paint got some paint on the Airfix Mosquito today.
Mm-hmm.
This is Hataka orange line lacquers. So I've got the ocean grey and the dark green on there today, ready for the black undersides. And as I pointed out on my page, it was my first actual use of the PS771 GSI or Mr. Hobby PS771 airbrush with a fine tip, which is basically a custom Micron, an Iwata custom Micron rebadged and with a couple of little design differences. Yeah, there's the results of freehanding with that, because I haven't freehanded anything for a while. I thought I needed a bit of practice, so I think that came out all right.
It's good to get. That's lovely. It's always good to go back and do a bit of freehanding every now and then, because it's like, yeah, I've still got the chop.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's like freehand airbrushing for me is the test of both an airbrush and any kind of paint. With a new airbrush, can I freehand with it? And with a new paint, can I freehand with it? If I can freehand with a new paint, it kind of gets a pass from me, which is why so few true acrylics get a pass from me, because they're just incredibly difficult to enjoyably freehand, I should say. Not that you can, it's just that they tend to be quite miserable experiences to freehand with. So yeah, if I can, which is odd because, you know, I don't often freehand these days. Most of the time I'm using some kind of masking technique. Even, I mean, if you look at the Mirage 3 I just built, you know, it's all hard edged. It's all done with masking techniques. So it's almost like the airbrush is
I've got some of the orange line paint. I actually bought their Fleet Air Arm colours. Their dark
Right.
slate grey, extra dark
Yeah.
sea grey and sky. Have I found anything to actually build to use them on yet? No.
I'm forever buying new paints when they're released. We're both like that, aren't we? New paint. Although I haven't tried any.
No, I do not have a problem with paint at all whatsoever.
Yes. Although I still don't have a single bottle of the third generation AKs. I still haven't tried a single one of them.
I've got. Would they include the AK Real Color aircraft ones?
No, they're not real colors. I'm talking about the third generation dropper bottles. They did.
No, I haven't tried them either. And
they're true acrylics. So
yeah, I have been meaning to have my joyous autumnal trip out to Frome Model Centre, but it's either work's got in the way or other things have got in the way. Then of course when I'm like, right, I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely do it after the Devon trips, and then of course everybody then decides to start drinking petrol for a living. Although it has to be said, on the 3 occasions in the last week where I've needed to put petrol in the car, I have been able to just drive down to the local Waitrose garage with all the pumps working and no other cars there, and just that's it.
Fill up.
I
mean, I've only had to fill up once in the last couple of weeks, and I got some of that any trouble at all. So, hey ho, what can you say?
Yeah, so I just turn that stupid compressor off. There we go. That's better. It's just weird. Like I say, it's and having just went down there and filled up, and that was it. I was like the only person down there. I thought, does nobody want this stuff? Anybody? I'll have some more then.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, so I am planning to pop into hopefully perhaps next week, if not towards the middle of the month, is pop over to Frome and pick up, because I need to pick up some of those. I need to pick up some paints and bits and pieces, and also pop into Antics as well. So yes, I do need to try some of these paints. I must say, I have been using those Ammo of MIG figure paints. Boy,
right.
have I been using those Ammo of MIG figure paints, and I like these. These are very good. So,
is there anything different about them as paints, or is it just the shades that you like?
It's the shades I like, but they do they do airbrush quite nicely, but they brush as well. I was very impressed with them.
Cool.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
Right, I think we have reached that time in the evening. God, it's been exciting tonight, hasn't it? 30 second scale Lancaster, new Dauntless, unboxings. Goodness me.
We've got an hour when we go for it, can't we?
Yeah. Any other business?
Not from me, no. Until Wednesday, no. And hopefully I'll have started something else by Wednesday to talk about. So, or the Mosquito might be more towards finishing.
Yeah, Brian Wilton says 3rd gen AK are great for brushwork. Okay, well that's interesting. I definitely will.
That's actually one of the chief reasons I want to try them, to see what they bring to the brush detail painting.
And Craig Sargent said scale modeler supplies current go-to. I gotta say, because Frome stocked them, I've been using some of them recently, and they are beautiful paints. They are absolutely stunning. And in fact, I did get the Australian colours because I've got to build a tiger moth for Spencer at some stage. So I've got all the right colours for that now, which is just foliage green, but I've got the right foliage green.
Yeah, no, I still haven't actually tried them. So,
I mean, I've got to say, I did use the, bear with, I did use the dark yellow on that little Plastic Soldier Company rad armoured car.
yeah.
I've got to say, it is slightly more mustardy and yellow than, say, something like the Tamiya, the lacquer version of it.
Right.
But then again, there are so many variations on dark yellow. So
yeah.
this,
exactly that,
this actually, if you see this in the flesh, Drew, this would almost pass as mid-stone.
Right.
It's got that slightly mustard green tint to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but they are beautiful paints. Did I not do a live? I'm sure I did a live spraying pop-up thing with them.
You may well have done. Yeah, I just don't remember. I just know that I as yet haven't tried them.
Well, we'll have to rectify that somehow. And of course, bear in mind also, Froome is equidistant between us, so
yeah,
yeah, might be a bit of lunch and cake in it for your son. Play your cards right.
Bit of cake.
Talking of cake, what did I have in Devon during the week? I had I can't remember what cake I had. It's me. It's been that kind of week. I had something nice, and it was at Bumble and Sea, but I forget what it was. It wasn't a cream tea. I had the cream tea on the boat. It's a good way to end the show is I start talking about cake, and I can't remember what cake I ate. So,
yeah, it wasn't the best segue.
It's an appalling segue. Anyway,
what do I have? Cake.
We are also still working on the festival and modelling thing, and we've got some ideas and stuff, and we're lining up guests and things. So we are working on that. I'm not going to play the trailer because I haven't turned the volume down on it. So,
oh god, that was loud.
People are still deafened from it last week. But anyway, well, that's it then. I haven't got anything else.
No, thanks all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday, basically. That's about all there is left to say at the moment.
All there is left to say. So, as always, it just remains for us to always, as always, say stay safe, stay out of trouble. Wednesday, might not be one on Wednesday, because I might be on steam trains Wednesday. So,
all right, okay. Just let me know.
We don't know at the moment. But if not, it'll be Sunday. But until then, obviously, regards to your mother.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
that's okay. And so until then, we will see you when we see you. So from ourselves, good night.
Good night all.